So this is my submission video for ESA Summer 2022, Kalimba Journey and %. So Kalimba is a puzzle platformer that almost literally nobody knows about, but is of like really good quality. That it's surprising how little people know about this game. Basically, in this game you control two totems that you move at the same time.
The shaman lady, still in her spirit form.
And hard to say, but the game introduces mechanics at the same time. Okay. You move right at the same time, we jump at the same time, both tokens controlled by one controller. These white things I'm collecting are more for gold %, where you have to collect all of them in a level and never die. For any %, we just want to get to the end of a level of the Journey campaign, which is the solo campaign. It also has a co-op mode. So the first level is pretty basic, just it's a tutorial level, just looking at both of the totems and making sure they don't both fall off. I always try to jump to the leftmost part of the jumpers, because they boost you towards the right a little bit at that point. And the goal of each level is to reach these tokens. We exit to main menu and restart and go back to the level select afterwards to make a quicker selection of level. This level introduces another main mechanic, is swapping colors. Purple totem survives purple goo, green totem survives green goo. Basically you can go into your own color, otherwise you die like that. That wasn't intentional, but it showed how it works. So you need to be constantly jumping and swapping in order to not die and proceed holding right as much as possible. And the further we go into the game, the more curveballs the game throws at you, and how you need to look at the game, at which totem you need to look at, and things such as this.
The golden totem coding awaits those who can pick up everything without losing a life.
Like the game said, you get the golden totem if you pick up everything without losing a life, but that is not our goal today. We're calmly walking through these early game stages that barely have anything of like difficult. You hold right most of the times. Now over here the game expects you to split your totems up, and I actually want to show this. Split the totems up and go separate paths, but if you do some precision jumps, you can do it at the bottom part, which is slightly faster. When I was falling down, I jumped a bit to separate these two totems to be able to pass the goo areas. And now it's this simple, easy falling area. The first 7 levels are like completely free. But it's not too long until the game starts throwing curveballs at me. One interesting thing is that we always have to have Steam in offline mode, otherwise the game would show us the leaderboards, and that costs time. But we don't care about leaderboards, we want to not see them, and that's why we're waiting. Go up and jump. This level is all about gathering our totems and separating them afterward. This can be done slightly quicker than in a casual manner. You see those spots I'm collecting from time to time, they're generally just operating some sort of mechanism, and that's why we're picking them up. I try to make the cycle. I get confused when I don't make a cycle. Wasted another cycle, but being a bit too fast. Section you literally hold right, you can jump and collect some of the points. So once again, splitting up and joining back up is the theme of this level. You need to double jump to get towards some of these, don't jump into the opposite color goo, and you're good. And we just kind of hold right to the finish line. Since I collected two little points, I'm going to get a lock totem. Depending on how much points you collect and how much you die, you get a different totems in the world, which are later on linked onto achievements. This low friction material called ice has a funny property. Every time you jump on it, you save 1 frame. Or something like that. I don't exactly remember, but I'm pretty sure I'm saying the correct things. On this level you're encouraged to jump as much as possible without killing yourself. So the IOs for this level are pretty tight. This is breaking ice, which is literally not scary because we pass that ice much faster than Whoops. I tried to... If you go to the leftmost side of the jumper, you maintain some speed and you can skip one of the platforms. Generally worth to try and go for. But sometimes it doesn't work. You might have noticed you could have gone to the left area right over there. When I was falling down, Rose has... that place has a space called the meta space where those are tiny minigames that the game has sprinkled all over the world. There are also achievements passing those minigames. Once again, this is not exactly what we're going for, just trying to go fast and beat the game. Normally over there in all that green goop you would have had to wait for the platform to rise up, but if you jump just correctly, you can make it. And here is our power up slash power down. One of the totem's gravity has changed, so this is one of said curveballs that the game throws at you. Since the totems have opposite gravity now, it really changes up how you need to think. It's no longer simple of just holding right and looking that both totems have somewhere to jump on. Now you can bounce off each other, pass the gaps. These white enemies are insta-kills if you touch them, so you have to avoid them. There's some more gravity shenanigans going on over here. Bouncing off of each other is enough to jump over the enemies, and to end the level we have to grab the power up again to restart normal gravity for the totems.
This new
But
pretty fun, she thought.
the
It
game
was as if the
is
game
going
was
to
now
expand on the same
more than just a
ability,
straight-up platform.
and later on there's going to be much more. I almost messed up because I didn't swap my gravity at the correct spot, and I died in the end because I did just what I was talking about. I want to raise up the right totem since he was closer. Now I just need to swap gravity at the right times to avoid the black goop, the insta-kill goop. I didn't time that correctly. I definitely could have gotten in one go, like this. Slow down a bit there because I knew I wasn't going to make it. You can, I just not that good right now. And here you need to separate the totems by distance and not jump into the opposite colored goo. You can make it by separating by one block, but it's tight. After one try, I just decided to not do that again. You could be jumping on rock platforms, but it's slower than just holding right and manipulating the gravity back and forth. You make proper jumps. That's why I kinda had to slow down with my speech. Because timing is kinda weird.
One time she ran into a giant
So
snake.
this is our first
He
boss
was sort
fight.
of a boss in his first
We
world.
have a cutscene skip actually for this one.
She already knew about
So
his
we're going
weak
to walk
spots.
right just enough to hit the checkpoint,
Orange
and we're going to kill ourselves, and we are over the cutscene trigger, and consequently the music trigger as well. So we're just kind of walking right without any music. Kinda creepy. Usually there's like a big snake chasing us, but not right now. It's going to come back the next checkpoint, which is going to appear in like 10-ish seconds, I think. For the time being, we can just flop around and jump, collect the points. Here we go. With how close the snake is, it might look hard to react, but it's literally just swap after the first goo every single time. Usually there would be music, but oh well. We need to bait the black goop tail to initiate the next stage of Goop Vomit. I'm not sure how to distract, and our goal with this is to hit the orange spots, like the NPC told us at the very start of the level. And this snake has 3 phases. It starts with the tail again, twice, because it's the second stage, of course. And there's the goop right afterwards. This time a bit harder, but still nothing to write home again about. And the first stage with 3 tails. It's really kind of just weird to have no music. The rest of the bosses do have music, so no worries there. And there's the attack, and it's going to stop. Well, we're going to kill it. Fairly simple, but if you don't know what you're doing, it can definitely be hard. This is the one death we have to take in a speedrun. Oh no, it's not the only death, there are a few more death warps.
It sounded familiar and comforting,
So,
though it was anything but.
this game is divided into 3
So far from her.
worlds, lower, middle, and upper, and we just finished with the lower world, the easiest one. I was jumping there in place to bait the enemy a bit further so I could make my jump. This level focuses on platforms that appear bit by bit, depending on how long you stay on them. So the goal is to stand on them as little as possible while still making it through. Also, generally it's a good idea to jump off the ledges as soon as possible, because it's faster, and I just completely didn't do that this time around. Then, just had barely enough time. Right here I jumped off earlier, way close enemies around, so I could pass over the top. Now we're back to the grind with the shenanigans, just avoiding the goops and making my way towards the goal. You want to hold it right as much as possible, which is fairly easy, honestly. Collecting all the blips is really the blips, the points, the blips, I'm calling them whatever, is really the main challenge of the game. Going fast is another, obviously. Whoop, I went a bit too far. That's fine.
She was about to experience the spirit cannons, and they were about to become like one of her favorite things.
Yeah, as Hobear told you, those spirit cannons are kind of amazing. They shoot out the correct color totem. They just kind of jumped into the black group because I talk too much. You need to fall off the fat one. And with the cannons, you end up chaining them. So you need to be constantly aware of colors they're changing. Once again, swap, 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 swap. And we land on the red group with the red totem at the bottom. Here we... I usually just go and I'm fine, but you actually need to time this a bit. This cannon is a bit different since it's one cannon, but you still need to be constantly switching to avoid the goop. So shoot, swap, swap, swap. This has two of the same cannons in a row, but the timings work out that you can think of those two cannons as one. It's really not that much of a difference. That was the moving cannon, we're on a good cycle. You need to transport both totems for red cannons, and one of the cannons is moving, so you need good timing. So this is the end of the level, end of the spectacle of cannons. You just need to pay a little attention. Like red, turn blue into red, blue into red, blue into red, blue into red, blue into red. Just slowly paying attention to what's going on the screen is good enough here.
This world had new and different ability orbs. See? Red, with a bear on it.
Like Mr. Hobear just said, we have another ability. It's big. It makes you jump higher, you're bigger, and you kind of destroy some platforms because you're big. But you can use a big jump and swap around and use another big jump, thus making you reach pretty big heights. I'm totally mistimed my jumps, that's on me. There we go. We need to jump over, but you need to constantly be swapping to be on the correct color goo. This is a small speed tech I just did. You jump with a small totem and then swap into a big one to make the ground that can be shattered with a smaller jump. Generally, the game doesn't expect you to stack up there, but it works and it's a slight bit faster, and fortunately I just missed that Seeker, the white bird thing. That is another ability that the big totem can do, is crush Seekers. Small ones at least. There are still big ones that can murder you. So we just collected 2 pots. Okay, great. Yeah, my brain completely froze for a moment. So we're out of that area. We turn into a small one to be able to grab this next pot. And once again we jump off a small one and change into a big one. Hello. Thank you. To destroy the ground quicker. Sometimes it doesn't want to cooperate, so I look kinda silly. And there we catch our totem, and that's basically like this. We provide a platform for the little totem to jump over. And since the big totem can't walk into the goo because it's blocking him, we're good. We even them out so we could stack back up and we're out of the level. Nice thing about speedrunning this game, there barely is any glitches.
She admired her new totem pole. It was getting really tall, she thought.
Yeah, sometimes when I'm switching crafty, I get lost and get panicky. Like that. I don't know what's going on with my brain there. You can definitely do that faster. Here in the corner you can see, you could have seen another meta space where the minigame resides. There was a triangle-y looking thing. I had to wait for the seeker since I couldn't jump over it. So yeah, our blue totem has opposite gravity and we grab the same power up with red, so we're both flying towards the sky. This upside down adventure. We activate another pot thing. Just have to swap back and forth to avoid the wrong colored goops. We get our power-ups and gravity back normal. Even though the ground shakes, you can jump pretty much instantly. So we're back to ice. Had to wait there because totems have a tendency to unstack. You jump while sliding on ice, since it's not quite the same. Here we just have to guide the blue totem on ice, or just get more momentum. So you don't constantly need to hold right, that's why the totem can't stop. But we still need to catch him. Advance. This is the final slide of the slowbo. You need to swap colors, grab the power up so the red one can float upwards. And collect the points. This is as close as to an auto-scroller as it gets in this game. Still control characters, but you cannot really go faster than this. It's jumping on ice saves frames, but it's better to just avoid dying. So that was cool. Well, once again, as the NPC said, we're going to be facing a lot of enemies. Big bots can only be activated by big totems. There's a tiny bit of a skip. If if you full jump with the big totem, you can just barely get over the area where the blue totem would die. Once again, missing cycles like these is kind of annoying, but not much you can do, it just happens. Another puzzlery area where you need to restack up the totems. Not particularly hard. Jump back into the hole to be able to make the red totem small again. Swap around gravity. Once again, now we're falling with both totems, but convenient point lines show you where you need to fall. Just need to pay attention to the colors. Use the big guy's jump to make enough of a gap to be able to get past the blue goop. Here you need to make both totems small again. That's the end of the level.
The further the shaman lady traveled, the more she could sense her evil counterpart's presence.
So, this level we just had to separate at the very start to be able to bring totems into the cannon. This area we just kind of go through the first totem really quickly. Now we kind of have to break this one over. And constantly changing size. You can sprint past the seeker, destroy a couple of these. Bring the other totem up, and you need a big one, so we swap. Not kind of what I want to do. Trying to do speed threats and then failing miserably. As you can see, the seekers don't even want to attack a small totem, and this jump is hard, so I'm shooting up. This is a jump I will always fail at least a couple of times. Here we go. So this area is for restacking our totems. Because we need to launch one of our totems up higher. This opens up the path left. And I can swap colors, that sometimes happens. This totem sleeps, so I just have to slow down and jump. As we're walking through the blue goop, we have awakened all these seekers. But we can kill them with a big totem. So generally the game expects you to get to the checkpoint, but we're not about that. Okay. But yeah, I listened to where the pickups were and just completed the level off screen, since only one totem needs to hit the end of the level, thankfully.
Some enemies are just too big to kill. Take Holbert's advice in those situations. Run. Run away. Run far away.
Once again, the NPC says some good things. You need to run. Conveniently on those pots you can just hold right and not worry about it. You stay on them just enough to activate them. This is a bit jump pad, bunch of jump pads. But completely fell off both of them. Was supposed to be stacked in this area. Okay. I'm completely messing this up, so I'll just slow down and do it the casual way. Normally you would do this part one by one, but... And I ended up doing it, but you can do it at the same time. Once again, we're big and we're jumping big. So nice and good. As Hober previously said, some enemies are too big to kill, so we need to run as much as we can. Good thing about big enemies, we cannot enter small areas, so we're fine. This area of jump pads, you need to jump 3 times, there's no way to make it in 2, so you kind of just separate the totems enough afterwards. They can both pass through the group while holding right, and you continue to run away from another enemy, hopefully without needing to stop for these other smaller seekers. Jumping and swapping. I swapped with a small red totem for smaller jumps so I would have less air time, which allowed me to hold right constantly. A big totem to kill the small seeker. Now probably should swap one more time. Oh my god. Yeah. Deaths are sometimes really costly if you mess up a little bit. So I missed these as setup to get past that huge black goop. You just jump at the very start to just get over it. I know I just completely blacked out while doing it and forgot about it. I'm using the one who entered first into a further hole to cut off just a little bit of time. This is an annoying chase sequence that can cost you a lot of time if you mess up, and it's fairly easy to mess up later on in this section. Starts fairly basic. If you're not careful, you can definitely mess up here. And we're out of Owlbear. Sorry about that. Cat was going to do something really stupid. Anyways.
By Hobert's calculations, it's time for a boss fight right about now. Probably one where you'll have to size up.
Just as Hobart told us, we're about to enter a boss fight if I don't jump into a black goop once again. So, to activate this switch we need to be big, and here we are big. Separate them a little bit with a jump, be able to pass the goop. Now the evil shaman awakened some totems. He did the same with the snake, but we skipped that cutscene with the death warp. This cutscene we cannot skip, so here we go. So each of the totems has 3 hit points. We start out with having black goop at us, and then slowly shooting. Left one shoots blue goop, or right one shoots red goop. And this is another basically an out-scroller. Now that we hit him, he's mad, and he wants to target our little red fella. We're just standing in place and swapping a little bit. And we're golden. Now the other totem comes around once again, like the previous one. It's a mountain of black goop. Like I said, this one shoots red goop. You need to land in your head with the totem, otherwise there's no damage. Almost completely messed up. Yeah, Just safely avoid the goop. If you don't try to be extremely optimal, you're safe. But this time, since we kinda beat them up, both of them are starting to shoot goop. This time we start with blue goop. And as soon as we stomped on one of them, some secrets appeared, and once we stopped on the other one, more secrets appeared. Now we're both mad, since we hit them both in that phase, so we need to avoid black goop from both sides for a little while. Now we're going to shoot goop from both sides, if I didn't kill myself. It's easy to get impatient in this boss fight, honestly. So once again, we're going to shoot from both sides, we'll jump over them, and they're going to start shooting the red goop. That's the last phase of this boss fight. And had to wait for a second to make sure my blue totem doesn't die. And now we're both dead, and the level is done. The fat middle world is also done. Now we're going up to the upper world.
Upper world, a place of ethereal beauty.
Upper world has the zaniest power up ever. His Ego power up. If the Ego power up is the totem at the top, I just killed myself by accident. You float, but this is the only time your totems can move separately, because the Ego power makes a totem with fast power be unable to move. That also helps us save momentum instantly so we don't go too high. I'm just doing some dumb stuff. We also need to stop before the goop. This is one example where I used the momentum stop to not jump aside. Now we can fall separately, which is kind of the most fun part of this power up. Once again, you have a power up and you grab it again. It removes it. This time we're using the Ego power up as a platform. We're bringing our friend over here. Once again, falling off the non-moving totem make falling a bit quicker when we need to. To the right there's another meta space that we don't really care about. This world is very much about optimizing the amount of time you're in the air. If the Ego totem is at the bottom, it just floats, and yeah, can just be used as a platform like I said previously. We have another chase sequence kinda level. We're trying to fall off just enough to get some distance from the seekers, but not die to a black goop. Which honestly is pretty easy to do when you're used to it. Now we can see the end of a level there, we just have to float with our friendly totem and use him as a platform to jump into end of level.
a shaman can move one totem independently. A novel sensation after all that synchronous action.
Once again, Hobart is completely correct. It is kind of nice to only have to move one totem at a time. You want to collect the points, you had to go left and right again and left. But we can just follow through straight through the center. Here to stack up the totems to be able to float further, even skip some of the ground. I waited there for a bigger jump, so we were going to need to wait here anyways. Basically always do. A bit more falling off our floating totems. Save time on falling down. This is another one of those levels where you need to use your own floating totem as a platform. Here we go. While the platform was disintegrating, I jumped further down. Make some time. I'm just swapping back and forth to maintain some height since... Oh boy. Kinda messed up, but only one totem needs to reach it, so kinda back up to that. And thankfully it worked out.
A new kind of enemy was waiting. The pink and yellow enemies. They were pink and yellow.
Yeah, once again, Hobart's insights are completely correct. The enemies are indeed pink and yellow. Unlike the goop, the correct color totem can survive, and I swear I'm pressing control. Need to separate them a bit more. I walked one of the totems into a wall for a little while. Otherwise the next section can be a bit awkward. Best to think of these enemies as just the correct color goop. Good thing I hit the checkpoint. And I completely brain deadly did the incorrect thing. That's fine. This checkpoint system is generous. And you can work around it. I figured they would walk already. Would have needed to wait in the middle anyway, so it's fine. Didn't lose time with that death, thankfully. It's best to think of the colored enemies as just goop. It's easier on the brain cells. I pride myself on always trying to hold right in this section. It's pretty hard. And I generally get punished by it, but yeah. Talking and doing this is hard, so I'm shutting up for a second. Okay, I went for the hard part already. This didn't look as good as it should have been. This level relies on cycles super heavily. Also one of the harder ones in my opinion. Most of these platforms are on global cycles, so good luck. I already missed a cycle. Not that I was ever going for a perfect cycle, but no, it's a thing. I had to skip that platform because it had a chance to separate my totems. I'm waiting here for safety. In these later levels I'm doing a lot of things for safety. I think, what am I going to do with the other totem? The answer is nothing, because the checkpoint's right over there. And the cycle was bad, so I just had to wait in between the enemies. I figured I could make it, I was completely wrong. Going too fast is bad in this game. Have to moderate your speed. Can I save this? No, I don't think so. I'm dead. Yeah. That was once again a show of going too fast. Now we need to separate these totems so they can travel through the goop. Once one's through, we can have the other one like this. Once the other one is through, we can jump and hover with the other guy. Land on the same platform in time to land in it. Once again, the same thing, separate them so they can travel through their own group and their own separate platforms. And stack them back over together to make them be able to go through large gaps. This whole area that's zoomed out is pretty hard if you're going for full points. We are not, thankfully. Once again, you need to separate your totems because I have to fall through the same group, falling with different totems to save time on the fall. As you fall more than 2 times faster. Now if you're very good, you could do these basically at the same time, but I don't have the hand-eye coordination to achieve that. So I just transport each totem one by one. I figured I could maybe catch the last platform, but I couldn't. Unfortunate. Now we temporarily get rid of the eagle power-up and put it on another totem, and we once again separate them into separate platforms. And using the yellow totem we fall off into the end of the level. Oops. I was supposed to jump over with the first totem, otherwise colors wouldn't have worked out. I didn't separate my totems enough. You have to judge pretty well on how much distance you need between the totems for the platforms to actually work out. This is once again a period where you avoid the enemies with a different color than you. A lot of this looks super simple, I assure you. It certainly is not. I had a super incorrect distance. I should have been either more apart or closer together. That was a silly mistake to make. And there's tons of these little considerations to do across the run. Now we need to wait around a bit. Wait over the purple seeker. Swap over so the purple seeker goes to the purple goo, and we can just completely bypass him. So he goes to sleep. The same situation, we fall through with the yellow totem and then swap them over to avoid Mr. Mean Face over there. Bait, swap. generally go to the corner of each of these. I'll leave enough space for each totem to follow each other. There we go. This section we make big use of falling off a floating totem and picking up from below. You don't even need to wake these bad boys up, you can sleep peacefully, no need to disturb them. So this section wants you to constantly be swapping your totems while the ground slowly disintegrates, but you can just wait. Wait and disintegrate and then just stack up and leave. By the time the seeker notices us, we're long gone. Once again, the same principle, baiting over the opposing seekers and going in. And a bit more of constantly swapping colors. I kinda made a mistake. It has an odd ribbon that you can mess up a little bit, but hey, that's spiritual ooze and we're like almost done. There's like only a few levels to go. 3 in fact.
Kalimba hides 9 metaspace levels. To discover them all would be an achievement. Not like a cure for cancer achievement, but still.
Pretty sure this level holds the last metaspace, and this is when the game chooses to comment about them. Metaspaces are the minigames you can unlock and get achievements for, hence why Hobert was talking about achievements. Oops. The game likes to be conveniently meta at times, hence the meta spaces. Kinda messed up, so I had to start from the checkpoint and again. Yeah, just had barely enough height. As for both yellow groups, and again, reattach and fly. This checkpoint? Okay, yeah, there was a checkpoint here. Despite the yellow totem size low for that, thank you. That wasn't necessary to do, but I just kind of a thing that I want to do. Once again, consistent strategies. Just drop off, pick up the totem from below. Ground really doesn't want to get destroyed today. Not sure what's going on. This is certified, this has not happened before moment. The game expects you to jump up and hide your purple totem in the open spaces, but we have enough time to just completely bypass this area. That's kinda neat. Oh, floating down, we can bump our head and make the ceiling disappear, use a purple totem to reach platform, and work on bringing our totems back together to be able to float down. Using the big jump from the big fella, and here is an attempt at another off-screen thing. I'll try it once more And if I fail it, that's bad. There's a big jump where I'm constantly swapping. And constantly swapping allows me to jump further. Here we go. And cross a big gap onto the booster. If I didn't swap, I would not have enough distance to jump over said gap.
With her newfound abilities, she was able to ditch gravity altogether, which was great because this level was all vertical.
Yep, all vertical level. We're falling upwards. If you're not aware of the level's layout, it can be pretty difficult to do. There's also a camera manipulation out of bounds strat that I'm currently don't know, which looks pretty cool. I might learn by the time of the event. I try to do it super fast. It's one of those rewarding areas where playing super fast is good, but okay, I'll slow down since I'm dying again. And you just need to swap once more. Here we go. This game can still do number on your brain, even if you played it a bunch. In this section we need to set a platform for a big guy to jump over, so we just jump off of each other and other guy float. So the big guy has enough area to jump over after we set it up. Now we separately fall upwards a bit. Here we double jump to give distance between the totems so they each can pass all the group as intended. Now we grab the power-ups to restore gravity and we're done with the level. One more boss fight to go.
Of course there was a great bird-type boss in the end of Upper World. She wondered if it would be the final boss.
And it is the final boss indeed. A big bad shaman bird. Burb. Separate a bit because it's faster to fall separately than to fall together. Now the shaman curses, I guess, another thing, bird. We stay near the platforms and wait for him to shoot his goop so we can jump on his crown. Now he's going to be mad. Going to try to do the same thing again so we can jump on his crown again. That's 2 hits. You know, regular 3 hits. He's just going to charge us real soon. Wait, what's this? He's dead. It's over, right? Unfortunately, the evil shaman decides to come back and reanimates the bird, I suppose, for 3 more hits. During this time, there's a ton of secrets that's going to spawn, and we need to kill them all, and it's annoying. The next phase doesn't start until we kill all the seekers. That's 1 hit. We're going to have to wait this out a bit. Another hit, so it's a bit lower. If you jump on the tip of the nose of a bird, he doesn't run away. Otherwise he would. But the third hit is not so easy. We have a chase sequence and I messed up. Need to follow with each totem a little bit, just enough. And the bird is going to dive soon, that's why I was moving to the sides as much as I could. Want to cover as much ground without killing the totem. Kill this one, and we're following with this one to the end to hit the bird right over here, and that's game. A little over an hour, not an optimal run, for sure. Yeah. A 105 or a 110 would probably be a fair estimate. Not sure which one I'm going to submit just yet, but it's definitely one of those. 110 should be safer. Yeah, that's Kalimba in the percent journey. And we can look at our beautiful log-ridden totem pole.
She did it! The evil shaman was no more, defeated by true spiritual courage and sent back to the place from whence he came.
Yeah, and that's Kalimba in the percent journey once again. Thank you for watching this mission video. That is all.